Welcome to the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, the country's first Polytechnic U. PUP is a state-run university governed by the Republic Act 8292, known as the Higher Education Modernization Act of 1997, and its implementing rules and regulations contained in the Commission on Higher Education Memorandum Circular No. 4, Series of 1997. It is home to more than 70,000 students, making it the largest state university in the Philippines in terms of student population. It is the university's commitment to give qualified and talented students access to quality and responsive education to aid them in the achievement of their dreams and the improvement of their lives. True to its commitment of making education accessible to all, the university has strategically established campuses and branches all over Luzon. PUP boasts of its roster of 1,483 full-time and part-time faculty members and 707 administrative employees. The faculty members and employees perform the collective goal of training, servicing, and supporting the university's stakeholders. From its humble beginnings in 1904, PUP was originally established as the Manila Business School primarily for the training of personnel for government service and to provide skills needed for private employment. 4 years later, the Manila Business School was renamed Philippine School of Commerce or PSC and merged with the Philippine Normal School from 1933 to 1946. Through the virtue of Republic Act 778, PSC was renamed to Philippine College of Commerce or PCC in 1952. In April 1, 1978, PCC was converted into a chartered state university now known as the Polytechnic University of the Philippines by virtue of Presidential Decree No. 1341. PUP truly has come a long way from a business school to a premier polytechnic university, the very first in the country. Every year, around 50,000 graduating high school students, mostly from economically challenged families, take the Polytechnic University of the Philippines College Entrance Test or PUPSET and hope to become one of the 10,000 who will be given a chance to be new PUPians. At present, the university offers more than 80 programs in the graduate and undergraduate levels with its strategic direction of making the colleges vertically articulated. Graduate School, College of Accountancy and Finance, College of Arts and Letters, College of Architecture and Fine Arts, College of Business Administration, College of Communication, College of Computer and Information Sciences, College of Education, College of Engineering, College of Law, College of Political Science and Public Administration, College of Social Sciences and Development, College of Science, College of Tourism, Hospitality and Transportation Management, College of Human Kinetics, Institute of Technology. BUP further strengthens its open university system through expanded tertiary education equivalency and accreditation program and the non-traditional system program. It caters to borderless educational system that aims to reach many learners as possible. For more than a century of existence, countless outstanding achievements have raised BUP to the level of a national comprehensive university. With a vision to transform the university into an epistemic community, BUP subscribes to the idea that a university should have an extensive research and extension development culture. Each year, BUP surpasses national passing rate in licensure examinations and ranks among the top in different academic disciplines. BUP has also institutionalized academic exchange and international cooperation with various countries all over the world through its Office of International Affairs. Today, BUP is relishing its successes and its students are enjoying unprecedented academic opportunities. An enhanced campus environment, upgraded colleges, state-of-the-art technology, and nationally and internationally recognized programs. It has gone far from what it was more than a century ago. This is mainly due to the support given by the government, the PUP community, and its benefactors. With the combined efforts, PUP will continue to be a partner in nation building and in poverty alleviation for the marginalized sector of the society, with quality, responsive, and relevant education as a tool. PUP, the country's first Polytechnic U.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive
Welcome to the Polytechnic.
You
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the day 11 of the Professorial Chairholder Lecture Series. This is brought to you by the Office of the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Office of the Vice President for Research, Extension, and Development in partnership with PUP Graduate School, Open University System, College of Engineering, College of Science, and Institute of Technology. I'm Engineer Ulito Mahagwa, your Master of Ceremony for this event. So the talk of our research speaker this afternoon will focus on IT project management in globalized society. To formally open this session, may we request everyone for the moment of silence for the invocation to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Noon pa man, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marubdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ayaw mag-ibig, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa bibig mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, dulot ka ng pag-ibig, sa manlulupin, di ka masisingil. Sa lahat ng tulog, sa singer at sa langit mong babang, may ginatang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng patawad mo'y tagumpay na nagliligig. Tuwing nag-araw ng kailan pa malimalig, lumalang araw ng 100% buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya ng pagkay makahamit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Okay, to make this session valuable one, may I remind everyone of the following virtual conference etiquette. Change your Zoom meeting ID to this format, acronym of the institution you are affiliated with, your full name, for instance, PUP1 De La Cruz. Otherwise, you may use your full names as the meeting ID. Remember that your microphone and video camera are disabled by default. You may enable them if it's your turn to interact. Be respectful, don't interrupt the presenter, and keep your mic on mute and camera off while someone is presenting to avoid unnecessary distraction. Next, be an active participant. Balik. Provide inputs and response to the speaker's request. Question and clarification. Question and clarification will be entertained after the presentation. You may use the chat box for the facilitator to note them. State your name and institution and ask questions concisely. Comments that will benefit others are most welcome. Next, provide feedback to help us improve our online events to better understand your needs and preferences. For other registered participants who are on Facebook, make sure that you have answered the survey feedback to ensure that you will receive an e-certificate. Whenever disconnected in the Zoom meeting, please log in again using the link, or you may join us at this link. So now to give us the opening remarks, let us all welcome the Dean of Institute of Technology and the current member of the Board of Regents as the President of PUP Federated Faculty Association Incorporated, Engineer Ramir M. Cruz.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, so again, this is the last of the installment for this year, 2020, for the Professorial Chairholder Lecture Series in Science, Engineering, and Technology. So for the past several lectures that we have indeed proven that science and its application, engineering and technology, are really the salient ingredients in solving the many societal problems that we have right now, including this pandemic. And we have also proven that technology, in its purest form, actually provides us the mechanisms in solving these problems, and it narrows the gap, in communication, especially during these hard times that we are facing. Okay. This Professorial Chairholder Lecture Series is part of the university's efforts, in bringing us together, in sharing valuable knowledge, and it's really a part of our goal, to bring quality education even in these times of pandemic. So without further ado, in behalf of the PUP administration, I welcome you, faculty members from PUP and from other higher educational institutions, students and other guests. Welcome to the 2020 Professorial Chairholder Lecture Series in Science, Technology, and Education. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Sir Amir, for that welcome remarks. For the introduction to our resource speaker, may we call on the co-chair of this professorial lecture series, Engineer Joselinda M. Golpeo. Ma'am Cho?
So good afternoon. Our professorial chairholder for this afternoon is a graduate of Doctor of Information Technology in 2017 from St. Linus University, a Philippine program under CHED GR077 series of 2010, with his dissertation entitled Factors Affecting Users' Level of Trust and Sense of Security in E-commerce Application. He is also a Doctor of Education, major in Educational Management at the Eulogio Amang Rodriguez Institute of Science and Technology. He is also holder of 18 units it's professional education course under ERIS, and he also took his Master of Science in Mathematics at the Manuel L. Quezon University in Manila. He is a graduate of Computer Engineering at the Central Colleges of the Philippines. He is also a member of the different professional organizations, namely the following: Singapore Computer Society, the Institute of Computer Engineers of the Philippines, a Singapore chapter. He is the founding president. He is also a member of the Project Management Institute in United States, International Federation of Engineering Sciences or Societies in the United States is an organization representative. He is part of the Canadian IT Professionals, a professional certification board member. He is a World Conference on Applied Science, Engineering, and Technology peer reviewer, an Institute of Computer Engineers of the Philippines National Vice President for External Affairs, and a Philippine Society of Engineering Education Interim Vice President under Industry. He is an Honorable Assistant Secretary for the Institution of Aquaculture Singapore. For his work experience, our professorial chairholder is the senior consultant and project manager of Quantum Systems Pte Limited Singapore from 2019 until present. He is the program advisory board member for computer engineering program for Holy Angel University in Angeles, Pampanga, a program advisory board member for computer engineering for electronics engineering and IT program for Jose Rizal University, and also a program advisory board member for computer engineering and electronics engineering for Asia Pacific College. He is also a former consultant for Emson Systems Pte Limited, Singapore, a senior consultant as well for EXSYS System Pte Limited, Singapore, and a senior system analyst for Ilios Web Pte Limited, Singapore. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you our professorial chairholder for this afternoon, Dr. Ryan Evangelista.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Thank you, Ma'am Josefina Golpeo, for your well-detailed introduction. So, hindi ko na nakilala ang aking sarili. Okay, so again, good afternoon, PUP community, and happy anniversary sa Institute of Technology. So, it's a week-long activity for the Institute to celebrate that event. And again, it's an honor for me to see you again on my second professorial chair talk. So this topic now is focused on IT project management in a globalized society. So my talk will focus on my experience as an IT practitioner in Singapore and my role as a project manager. The project that I will share here is those projects that I have in Singapore with international stakeholders and teams. The project manager role itself is very challenging but rewarding. So you will know what I mean when you become one of the project manager in the future. Okay, so let's jump into the topic. Okay, let me share my slides. Okay, so as I mentioned, our topic is IT project management. So it is the same project management but focus on IT projects. Okay, so let's divide the terminology first so that we could have a greater idea of what IT project management is all about. So IT, okay, we know that IT is the use of computers to store, retrieve, transmit, manipulate data or information. So it is typically used within the context of business operations as opposed to personal or entertainment technologies. An information technology system is generally an information system, a communication system, or more specifically speaking, a computer system itself, including all hardware, software, and peripherals equipment operated by a limited group of users. So that one is very common. Okay, so I'll just give you the definition. Then project management. So it is a process of leading the work of the team to achieve goals and meet success criteria in a specified time. Primarily, challenge of project management is to adhere, okay, to all goals within the given constraints. So the information is usually described in the documentation created at the beginning of the development process. The primary constraints are scope, time, quality, and the budget or the cost. The secondary challenge is to optimize the allocation of necessary inputs and apply them to meet the predefined objective. So when you combine these two terms, so you are managing IT projects. Okay, how to effectively utilize resources in developing IT projects. Okay, So that's the question here. Why do we need to employ IT project management? Or rather, why do we need to employ project management in the IT industry? So it is a straightforward answer because we need to uh, maintain and manage resources to execute the IT project itself. Okay. So next slide. Okay. So let's have a typical IT projects with global teams. Okay. When we talk about of global teams, meaning to say some of your uh, teammates may reside in different geographical location, different time zone, different culture. So example of that is application development, okay, mobile development, automation systems, modeling system, game development, entertainment media, smart farming systems. Then we have robotics and artificial intelligence. Okay, when we talk about on the first projects I mentioned here, application development. Uh, on my experience in the field of IT, some of our big projects are we can say that we deploy them to our partners. Okay, this is what we call specialization. Because for example, you have a big project, for example, a school system, a university uh, portal system that contains enrollment systems, payment collection, registrations, and everything. So you have to segmented them into special modules, what we call that. Then each modules or phase or projects is dedicated to a specific partners so that we can achieve what we call optimum use of resources. Okay, so yun. Then another thing we have is the mobile development. So mobile development, malaki din ito. It could be uh, a typical game. For example, yung Angry Bird, that is one application sa mobile development. So that one can be developed by a group of people from various location. Then we have the automation system. So this one is primarily an application sa logistic, supply chain, IoT, process improvement systems, and aviation. So ito, for example, some of your equipment is being developed, for example, in Europe, then the software needed to run that hardware is developed, for example, in the United States. Then some other peripherals is developed in Asia. Then later on, they will assemble it sa Europe. So that's how globalization works. Okay. So typically, again, it is an overall IT project. Then we also have a modeling system. So example of this is the BIM system, so building information management system used by, I believe, civil engineers and construction managers. Neuro or cognitive science modeling system, space modeling system, 3D modeling system, in healthcare system. So the same thing, these are done by a group of people that can be in a remote location. For example, group of scientists in the United States is doing the core requirements and then implemented by programmers in China and then assembled again in Europe. So that's how it works. So as I mentioned, we also have here game development, entertainment media. So ito yung uso ngayon. So we have the casino and then animation. So bakit may casino rito? Nowadays, there's so many applications, okay, software developed for casino. So if you are working or some experience in Pogo, you will see all of those stuff, automated stuff are done in IT. Okay. Next, another area that is very promising nowadays is the smart farming system. So we have here automation in the agriculture, aquaculture, breeding, and gene selection matching. You can only do this with the aid of information technology. Kasi dati, you just, for example, sa breeding and gene selection, you must be familiar with the breed itself para maklasify mo kung ano yung magandang i-breed mo in the future. That one is for the agriculture and aquaculture products. But with the invent of IT, So you have already technology to tell you, okay, to tell you which genetics ang pwedeng gamitin that will be more productive sa next harvest or sa next season. So something like that. Okay. Then the next application now is very important is robotics and artificial intelligence. So we are now in the fourth industrial revolution. So most of the things that they are want to implement is all about smart technology. So just imagine robotics will be more sophisticated, will become more advanced, where they can do what normally human beings are doing. So ang sabi nga nila, in the future, robots will replace us sa ating mga typical na trabaho. But let us see pag nandun na tayo. Okay? Okay, as I mentioned, as globalization comes into the picture, so as the jobs. Okay? So kasama yon, as I mentioned, I have, for example, one big project from, okay, for example, from the United Kingdom, but the development team is scattered all over the globe. So I have team in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I have team, for example, in China. I have team in Taiwan. And then the headquarter team is in Singapore. So as a project manager, so you have to ensure that there is a technology that will enable all of these groups or teams, remote teams, okay, to communicate and to synchronize the tasks that needed to be done. And then as a project manager, you have to ensure that there is a straight communication, proper communication updates to the stakeholder in the United Kingdom. So meaning to say, so yun yung ano ngayon, technology. So with the advent of technology, lahat na is almost possible. Okay. So ano ba tong remote teams na ito? Ito ba yung ginagawa natin ngayon? Yes. So for example, in my case, I am residing in Singapore. So most of you is in the Philippines or some is in other countries as well. So with that, so we are having a remote discussion, okay? So remote meeting. But in the industry, we're doing it long time ago. So hindi lang siya ganun ka-popular kasi we just practice it in communicating with our partners and vendors na wala dun sa country namin. Okay? So normally, remote teams communicate through technology. Okay? So we use various technology to what? To do development. Okay? As I mentioned last in my previous professorial talk, yung cloud. So we can do a shared development in the cloud. Okay? So for example, all of this team may access sila sa cloud, then they only access the section that they have rights. So they can develop on their own time zone, on their own time. Okay? So that's how we do development, especially if you are on a remote concept. Okay, next question. Why projects are awarded overseas? So ibig sabihin nun, why it is outsourced. Okay? So one uh, explanation of that is that host country, yung receiving country, may have technical expertise on the project. Kaya sa kanila binigay yung project. Okay? And then the second one, maybe they have an experience on similar or related projects. Okay? Take note of that. I highlighted here accepted and completed projects. Kasi even though they have experience of similar or related projects, but completion rate and acceptance rate is very low, so hindi siya acceptable. Okay? Then the third one is human resource. So may mga taong gagawa, okay? There is a technological uh, facilities, okay? Technology and facilities available on that country, okay? To execute the project, take note of that. Again, at a competitive cost. So ibig sabihin nun, it is more beneficial to them. Okay? And the last one, okay, it is very important, favorable legal framework in case of project disputes to the investor and sponsor. Okay, take note of that. Okay, so imagine, okay, for example, Singapore, big projects, okay, for example, Boeing, for example, they setting up something in Singapore as one of their development headquarters. What do you think is the reason behind that? Do Singapore have technical expertise? Maybe because they can get it from anywhere in the region. Do they have experience or similar related projects? Possibly. Then human resources, do they have? Possibly. Okay. Then the last one, favorable legal framework. Yes, 100%. Okay. Because Singapore is a stable government. So meaning to say everything happened. So there is a continuity of policy. Okay. And it supports foreigners to set up business projects in the country. Okay? Kasi mahirap sa mga investor to do big project in overseas which is later on unstable. So it is just a loss for them. Okay? But those are for some big projects. Okay? Okay. So let me just show to you some of my projects. Okay? International projects. I have the first projects that I have here is the Intercontinental Hotel Groups. Okay. So in here, my project team is here in Singapore and in the United Kingdom. Okay. One of the challenge here is different time zone. Okay. Though we have the same language used, English as a medium of communication, but the challenge here is the time zone. And then, uh, of course, in every projects that you will work with different nationality, number one there is the culture. So some of them are straightforward. So as a Filipino, normally we are, how to say, conservative. We refrain to say something that might offend the other party. But if in the Western country, they are straightforward. If it is no, no. If it is wrong, it is wrong. So as a project manager, you have to adapt with that. Okay. So in the UK, the good thing about them is that they will tell you if you're doing it right. They will praise you. But if you did something wrong, they will tell you as well. But after that, that's it. Tapos na yon. So walang personalan sa mga international partners, especially Western people. Okay. Okay, my next is the German European School Singapore. So in here, I met Europeans, Germans, French, uh, Portuguese, and some outside the Europe. I remember I encountered some South American, a Guatemalan. The Guatemalan, I thought he's a Filipino because the way he speaks in English is similar with us. But he told me that he's not a Filipino, but a Guatemalan, a South American continent. Okay, so in here, okay, let me just share with you. German European school, generally most of them are Germans and French. Okay, Germans, they are not that much fluent in English, but they are trying. Okay, the French, they can speak English, but the way they deliver it is sometimes very in a way that it is not acceptable to our norm as a Filipino people. For example, uh, out of 10 items that you have completed, there is at least one something got wrong. In French, they will tell you it is not acceptable, totally not acceptable. So meaning to say only one, everything is not acceptable for them. But for the Germans, and I believe that I remember I have one a partner there, an Australian. What they say is like this: "Oh, everything is correct, everything is fine, except for one thing. Would you mind to help me to rectify that?" So you see the message they are conveying. So technically they are the same, but the way they deliver it is different. So that's how you will experience dealing with international people. Okay. And again, They are again straightforward. If they say you're doing it right, you're doing it right. If they say wrong, you have to do something about it to rectify the issues on the project. And again, if they ask you something, whether is this possible or not, tell them straight if it is possible and not if it's not possible. There is no point of telling them, wait, let me check. If you know, you can confirm that these things cannot be done, tell them straight, this one cannot be done. Or this one is outside of the scope. So do that. Huwag niyo sabihin na, wait, pag-iisipan ko. No, you cannot do that. Or else later on, it will affect your project deliverables. Okay. Another projects that I have is in Singapore Institute of Management. So here, most of the projects that I have here is, since it is a school, it is more on a university-centric system. So financial systems, enrollment systems, registration systems, even alumni systems. They call it a membership system because all the graduates will be part of the membership system of the institute. Okay. So same thing, same approach that I have learned here is that, yeah, they are all straightforward people. They don't want any reasoning. If it is not possible, if you cannot do it, tell them straight. But okay, again, the only difference of the Asians, okay, in my experience in handling people in Europe, okay, for example, you give a project quotations. If you tell Europeans that it will cost you $100,000, they will just ask you the scope of the project, why it is 100,000, and they will tell you if it is okay or not. That's it. But if it is Asians, okay, for example, my experience in this one, typical, they will ask for a discount. So so I don't know if it is an Asian thing. Okay. So they will ask you a discount. So as a project manager, general rule of thumb is that you have to add something buffer on the project costing. This is may save you in some projects uncertainties as well. Okay. Next is Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts. So this project is also a Singapore project, but with the international stakeholder. Some of our teams here is from, I think, in Ireland. Okay, Ireland. Okay, so again, time zone problem. Okay, but you have to adjust. Then this system is accounts payable systems that we did for them. Okay, so in here, the initial requirements is, for example, the payment collection part. For example, all the payments is through, for example, bank deposit. Okay, they will do a bank deposit. Then later on, they found out that they want to have it payment through credit card. So they requested if the credit card payment can be included on the existing project. So as a general rule, as I've mentioned to you, tell them if not possible. Not possible in a sense that it is not included in the initial project requirements and costing. Okay, just tell them straight. Then, if they really insist, this can be included to what we call change request. So enhancement of the project, meaning at the top of the existing project, this is a change request. It is a chargeable cost to them. Okay. Later on, I will explain to you the different steps on this. Okay. Okay. So what are the skill set needed for an IT project manager? So sabi nga nila, as an IT project manager, you have to be Superman kasi you're doing a lot of stuff. Okay? So kasi akala nila project manager, you just giving assignment to your programmer, to your team leaders, puro email lang. No, it's not. Okay, so you must have skills on organization. So you organize things well. Negotiation. So how to negotiate with your vendors. Kasi take note of that, your project is not only within your organization. As I mentioned, you have partners or vendors working with you. for specialized modules or phase of your project. Then time management, because everything is luck. Meaning to say, if the project is 1 year, you have to deliver it within 1 year period. Okay. Then leadership. So you have to show leadership to what? To for your members to follow you. Meaning it is some sort of influence them that you are directing them to the right track. Then communication. Ito, communication. Actually, this is one of the big chunk of the job of the project manager. Communication with your teams, communication with your stakeholder, and communication with your supervisor. Kasi as a project manager, you still have superiors. Hindi ikaw yung boss. Okay? You still have a higher boss than you. Okay? If there is something wrong with the project, you have to tell the stakeholders and your immediate supervisor. Then, next, sabi, problem solving. Yes. As a project manager, you have to think in advance. What I've learned from my director is that, ang sabi, everything that every time you handle a project, you have to what? Anticipate things in advance. Okay? Anticipate. Kung halimbawa, meron kang vendor, kinuha mo dalawa. Then yung isa, medyo alanganin ka. Anticipate. If anything happened, or if anything got wrong with this vendor, you have already alternative to this problematic vendor. Okay, so as a development team, if you see that you have a project team leader that is a problematic, you have to ensure na meron ka ng alternative solution for that. So anticipate. Okay, next is risk management. So in every project, there is a risk. Okay, so yun yung mga risk na tinitake natin or tine-delegate natin or tina-transfer natin. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng mga tinatawag na outsourcing. For example, certain part of my project, I cannot do kasi I am not expert. So I will outsource it sa isang vendor, sa isang partner that has specialized on that area. So with that, nawala sa akin yung risk, na-transfer ko yung risk. Okay? So ito yung mga major skill set na dapat meron sa project manager. Okay? So let's go dive in dun sa some important factors na dapat alam ng project manager. Okay? So sa procurement muna tayo. Okay? So procurement, as a project manager, you must procure a project resources to a reliable partner. Sabi ko nga kanina, di ba, part of anticipation, dapat alam mo, itong vendor ko na to, I might have problem pero I have no choice. May experience naman siya, but let me try. Pero alam mo that there is something wrong na might happen, meron ka ng option B, option C, up to option Z. Okay? But okay, selecting a partners of a vendor, okay, ito yung kino-considered namin normally. Track record of the vendor. Okay? Okay ba yung vendor na yan or partner na yan? How about his previous and current clients? Ano ang feedback? Okay? Maganda ba? Or puro reklamo? And of course, yung financial sound of the company. Kaya ba niyang i-fund yung initial costing ng project? Okay? So, yan yung dapat i-consider. Okay? Next. Ayan. Muna tayo sa bill of materials. Okay. Sir, can you flash the bill of materials? BOM? For a moment. We will flash the BOM. Okay, let me look for the BOM. I think, Sir Joseph, would you mind to flash the BOM? BOM e-procurement?
Yes, for a moment, sir.
Okay. I think you haven't downloaded yet. The title is BOM Oh yeah, you can have the Excel. Yes, correct. That's it. Can you share it? Okay. All right. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wait. Let me. Okay. So, all right. Okay. For example, in this bill of materials, okay, this is part again of the procurement. In any IT project management, for example, you must have, for example, a hardware specification, a hardware requirements. Okay. So in IT project, okay, in development, you must have what we call working environment and a production environment. Okay. Working environment, these are the environment that are used by your developers or any development happening on this server. Okay. So these are the specifications of the uh, staging server. Okay. So ayan yung example. So you must, as a project manager, you must be keen on this specification. Kasi if you don't know this, hindi tatakbo yung mga initial testing na gagamitin ng developers or programmers mo. Okay? So these are the samples. Okay? At the end of that, nasa baba yan, I believe there is a costing. Is it correct? Is there a costing there? Wala. Sorry? Yes. Okay. Is there a costing there? I think there is none. Meron bang cost? Di ko makita. Wala. Never mind. Okay. Actually, I believe yung isang copy. Okay. So every servers, okay, merong initial costing yan. Okay. Okay. So you have a costing for your staging server. Okay. So yung staging server mo comprises of three types. We have the web, application, and database server. So your application and web server have the same specification. Then you have another specification for your database. But for this case, I believe since it is staging environment, pwede silang pare-parehas. Kasi this is just to replicate yung production mo. Okay? So for example, ang requirements of production is 10. Sa staging, pwede namang 5 lang. Meaning to say, can be a lesser specifications. Okay. Sa production, can you open the next tab, the production? Ayan. Sa production, iba yung specification niya. So mas malaki yung kanyang hardware specification. So you have the specification for the, as I mentioned, same specification for the application server and web server. Okay. Then, nasa baba yung specification ng database. Okay. Okay. And any other attachment, nandyan din sa baba. Okay. So normally, you need this one as a project manager for budgeting. Okay. Kailangan mo yan. Kasi when you submit a project proposal dun sa company, so you have to tell them these are the costs for the hardware. Or you may hire a partner to do it for you. But as a project manager, you must know every detail, how much it is. Does it have a warranty? Okay? May warranty ba ito? Does it include softwares needed to run the system? Okay? So those stuff you need to know as a project manager. Okay? Hindi pwedeng tansya-tansya. Okay? Normally, by experience, ang ginagawa namin dyan, okay, we get the requirements from the user. Ilan ang gagamit, okay, ng system? Paano ba siya i-deploy? Is it on-premise? Okay? If it is on-premise, so ibig sabihin nun, sa client side i-deploy. Then kapag sinabi nilang cloud, of course, it is on a cloud. But still, you must ask how many users will use the system para magawa natin ng uh, solutioning ang tawag doon. So with this, ito yung, for example, na-arrive naming specification for that particular requirements. Okay? Again, huwag kakalimutan ha, minimum requirements in the development should have staging or development and production, magkahiwalay. Hindi pwedeng magkasama. Okay? What's the reason behind that? Kasi kapag iisa yung production mo at staging, anything happen wrong, sabog agad sa production. Okay? So I hope this one clear. Okay, sir. Okay, I will proceed to the next one. Okay, can you show, sir, the development estimation? Another Excel, I believe.
Sir, this one po ba?
Yes, correct. That's correct. Hindi siya nakashare.
Nakashare.
Right. Okay. Ayan. Right. As a project manager, based on the initial requirements, okay, normally sa tender documents, makikita mo kung ano yung mga module that they will expect from the system. Okay. So you have to segmentize it by module. Okay. Why do we need to segmentize it by module? Okay. For easy development. Madali mong ma-process yung tinatawag nating mga components. Okay. For example, ano yung module 1? Yan. Ano yung module 2? Ano yung module 3? Okay? And then after that, if you see on the Excel sheet, I have estimated Mondays. Okay? And then, nakalagay siya kung anong phase siya gagawin. Take note of that. A project can be delivered by phases kung malaki. Pero kung maliit lang, one phase would be enough. Okay? Minimum, one. Walang zero. Okay? So in here, so phase 1 for example, ano yung mga sakop ng phase 1? So we have the billing, supplier change, okay? So yung mga phase 1, iyan nakalagay naman kung saang phase. Then estimated Mondays nakalagay din. Development effort, okay? So why do you need the development effort needed for each module? Okay? You need that for costing and budgeting. Okay, because you expect that you need to spend money. Okay, you need to spend money to execute this phase. Okay, take note of that. Time is critical in any project development, project management. Take note, halimbawa ang project is only good for 1 year, and then tinapos mo siya ng 1.5 year, so yung 1.5 year mo is yun yung loss ng company mo. So that's why you have to make sure you finish the project within 1 year period. Okay? So ang total mandates, go down, scroll down. Okay, you may scroll down. Madami, no? Okay, so I believe up to phase 3, phase 4. Okay, so this is the total mandates estimation. So 917 mandays. And then additional days there is. So 1 to 82. Okay, so ang tagal niyan. Pero this project is only good for, I believe, 1 year. So we only have 365 days in a year. So paano mo napagkasya yan? Of course, you will have various resources that will work on this module on a concurrent stage. Okay? So concurrent. Ito lang yung ginagamit for estimation ng cost. Okay? I hope it is clear. Okay, next. Let me go back on my slide. Okay, a project schedule. Okay. Sir, would you mind to share the schedule updates? NAFA AR schedule updates?
Schedule update. Wait lang po.
Okay, no worries.
Sir, pwede pong paano yung file name po?
Okay, then the file name is NAFA, NAFA
Okay po.
underscore
Okay na po, sir.
AR schedule updates.
Okay po. Wait. Then, share screen. Okay na po, sir.
Okay, let me see.
Ayan
I
po, sir.
cannot see. Ayan. Okay, very good. Okay, so this one is a sample of project schedule. Okay, so in here you will see. Kaya ito yung medyo detailed na na project schedule. More on upper management kasi ito. Okay, in here you will notice you have the activities. Okay, what are the activities? Okay, under for example, punta kayo sa column na nasa activity column. You will see, scroll down a bit. Okay, up taas muna. Phase 1, phase 1. Right. Okay, that's correct. Okay, you will see activity on phase 1, nakalagay dyan. Okay, it is a master and common, uh, invoice management up to debit note. Okay? So merong mga nakalagay na date. Okay? So those are deliverable delivery dates of each module. Okay? And then go up sa taas, sir. Balik ka sa taas, sir, sa header columns. Okay? So ang next nating column is the number of modules, and then we have the start and the end date, remarks, and then meron kalagay dyan, PIC, meaning person in charge. Okay? Dalawa lagi, it is a pair. There is a contact person on the client side. There is also a contact person on the project management team side. Okay? So dalawa yon. Kasi as a project manager, you have you must be a direct contact point in your company, and then there is also a direct contact point to the client. Okay? Hindi pwedeng marami kayong kakausapin. It should be a few people contact point para anything na pag-usapan yun yon. Okay? Then, okay, meron diyan last column, cost. Ayun, sa taas, sa taas, sa taas. Ayan, cost. Okay. So makikita ninyo every activities, okay? Okay, every activities or activity, there is a corresponding cost. Okay, so halimbawa, we completed the requirements documentation. Then we will send to them the requirement document or the requirements document. Then once accepted, okay, by all parties, it will be locked. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi na babaguhin yon, yun na yon. Then they need to pay a certain amount as agreed dun sa tinatawag nating contract. Okay, project contract. So meron tayong collection. Why do we need to collect money from them? Okay, normally we employ this kasi if there is no money involved, hindi sila magiging they will not give you time, they will not give you what you need, something like that. So if they already paying you, expect they will ask you more things. Okay? Then scroll down again after ng phase 1, I believe, or phase 2, there is another collection. Okay? So every stage of the project, there is a collection. Okay? So scroll down. Sige pa. Okay. Baba pa. Okay, after the project completion, so meron tayong tinatawag na users acceptance testing. Okay? So meron tayong testing on every phase. Okay? Merong date na nakalagay, ano yung module na iti-test, okay? At ano yung i-deliver, okay? After every test. Okay? This include documents, testing, documentation of the module. Those are included. Then, meron ding data migration. Data migration, ito kasi yung from legacy system, magmo-move siya sa bagong system. So, the data, the old data will be moved to the new system. Okay. Next is, okay, after you do the data migration, okay, user acceptance testing, and then, of course, you have to provide them appropriate training. Okay, hindi common na test na nila, hindi common na din na migrate mo na yung data, bahala na si Batman. No, it's not. You have to train them how to use the system. Okay, so merong training na nangyayari. Okay, so the training will be done by batch. It depends how big the organization. Okay, then after that, commissioning na tayo. Okay, so meaning to say, roll out na yan. So we will give to them the solution. Okay, then as part of the contract, okay, meron tayong tinatawag na maintenance phase. Anything happen with the project, okay, it will be fixed by the vendor. Okay, for example, kami. So halimbawa, merong bugs, may issues, okay, development problem, application issues, we will fix it for them. That is part of the contract. And each, meron ding cost. Okay, hindi libre yon. It is part of the project. Parang bumili ka ng TV, di ba? Merong extended warranty. You need to pay certain amount. Same thing with project development in IT project management. Okay, so that is the overall, okay, high level. As a project manager, you must know this. Kasi you are the one who will initiate the collection sa inyong client. Okay? You are doing this project for a cost, hindi siya free. Okay? Okay, next, let me proceed with my slide. Okay, sir, can you flash the next item? I have the minutes of the meeting. MOM, yes. All right, okay. So in here, okay, ang sabi ko nga kanina, one of the major tasks of the project manager is sa communication, relaying the information to your project team, and then communicating to your stakeholders or clients. Okay. So in here, this is just a sample of the minutes of the meeting. Okay. Why do we need to document that? O nandiyan yon. Okay. Para alam nila that these are the documents or the items that we have discussed on this day. Okay. So first part nito is the purpose of the meeting. Okay. Nakalagay dyan sa minute specifics. Purpose of the meeting, attendees, absent. Then you have the uh, meeting date, time, and the location. And then at the same time, revision. Okay, so for example, I did the document. So it is the baseline document version 1. Okay, then scroll down. Okay, ayan. Okay, sa minutes of the meeting, ilalagay lang ninyo kung ano yung napag-usapan. Okay, for example, you discuss about data migration. So you have to specify ano yung mga gagawin on that particular case. And then, sino yung presenter nun? And then, what is the status of that activity, and then action to be taken. Okay? So normally, ganyan ang ginagawa sa project. Bakit? Para at least, mabind mo sila na these are the things that we need to do. Pag sinabi nating we, us as a vendor, and you as the client, you have to do your job as well. Kasi without you providing us what we need to execute the project, hindi usog. Okay? So we have this MOM or minutes of the meeting to bind them. Hindi yung pwedeng nakalimutan nila. Hindi pwede yung, ay, hindi ko alam. Okay? That is how international project works. Okay? You're telling them, this is what we agreed. You have to confirm it with us. That's why it is issued to all participants of the meeting. And then you ask them if there is any deviation or that needs to be corrected, kailangan sabihin sa amin so that we can rectify. And then after that, we sign it. Then become official minutes of the meeting. Then again, another meeting coming in, and then another meeting coming in, hanggang sa matapos yung project. So that if there is some project issue, for example, walang data, o sinong sisisihin mo? O si ganitong client, si ganitong team, hindi binigay ang data. We asked them many times, we escalated to the higher teams, to the higher ups, and still they never give us the data. So it is not our problem. It is your problem. That's how you work in a project. Tell them straight. You never provide us the data, we will escalate you. Or else it will affect the whole project itself. Because the project needs to be delivered at this period. End of the story. Okay? So minsan you need to be tough in working in projects. Okay, next slide I believe is the issue logs. Can you share, sir, the issue logs? Okay na yan, sir. Okay na yan. So that is in general. Issue logs. Issue logs is, I guess, is an Excel as well. Issue sa baba. Yan. All right. Ayan. Okay, maiksi lang siya. Okay. Normally, issue logs contains all the issues from the word itself, all the issues that happened in the development of the project. Okay. For example, I cannot log in to the system. Or you just log in. I cannot log into the system using this account, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then, kailan mo siya ni-logs? Okay. What do you think? How much effort do you need to rectify the issue? And then what is the remarks? And then what is the status of the issue? And sino yung nag-raise ng issue at kanino inassign yung issue? Okay. Bakit kaya kailangan nating ilagay yon? Okay. Para alam natin kung sino yung magtatrabaho nung issue. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-raise ng issue na walang gagawa. Kasi by human behavior, if you didn't assign it specifically, they will not work on it. They will assume, that is the word, they will assume someone is doing it. Okay? So that's why in any issue logs, you have to assign it to whom? Nakalagay, assigned to. Tapos, number of Mondays or effort needed to execute or to fix that issues. Then, once completed, the status will be changed to fixed or completed, depending on the standards used by the project team. Okay? So, straightforward siya. Next is the change request, sir. Can you show the, for example, the SOW? SOW, that's correct. All right. Yeah, okay. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, okay, it is typical that in any project, may mga changes along the way. Okay. Okay. So to have it formal, okay, the client must raise a change request to the vendor, which is, for example, to the project management team. Okay. This change request, okay, will contains the complete specification or requirements of the said change request. Okay. So in return, on our end, we will do what we call SOW. SOW is what we call the scope of work. Okay. It is a complete document. Sir, pataas uli. Go back to page 1. Yan, okay. For example, this one, ano yung change request na hinihingi nila? Ito yon nakalagay. Student transfer, blah, blah, blah. Then version of the document. Version of the document is also included. And then for which client? And then scroll down, sir. Scroll down. Sige pa, sir. That's normal document versioning. Scroll down. Scroll down. Okay, scroll down. Okay, so yan. Yan yung scope. Okay? So kailangan the scope should be clear. Okay? So that there will be no ambiguity in the project change request. Okay? So pag sinabi nilang, oh, dapat ganito, it should be like that. Hindi pwedeng yung gagawin mong iba. Later on, it is additional effort to your side. Okay? Scroll down, sir. Okay, so these are the typical requirements. Scroll down, you go to the costing. I believe there is a costing there. Go down. Okay, go down, go down. Okay, scroll down more. Scroll down more. All right, that's correct. Costing. Okay, for all of this costing, okay, so you have to specify how much it will cost them. Okay, hindi yan libre. Okay, because you are incurring resources. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun, you are getting more people to work for this. Wala siya dun sa initial budget ng project. If, for example, the initial budget is 1 million, then it is fixed 1 million. If there is any additional on the project scope, it is additional charge to the client. Okay? So nakalagay dyan, ayan, sabi, it will cost you this amount. Then merong payment schedule. You have to pay in advance, I believe, or 100% payment, di ba? Upon confirmation of the order. Kasi to get them committed on this request. Okay? So that's how it works. And then go down, sir. Scroll down sa last part. Sa last part, sir. Ayan. Okay. So once it is presented to them, okay, they need to sign it. Okay. It is again binding them that the change request they raised is having these requirements, having these screenshots, and then they have to sign it because they also need to agree on the cost. Hindi pwedeng sabihin nila na pinagawa ko nga yan pero hindi naman ako pumayag sa cost na ganyan. Hindi pwedeng ganon. So that's why they have to sign it, meaning to say they agreed to all terms and conditions of the change request. Change will be this much and then this is the cost. Okay? Once it is signed and approved by the client, then sakala magsisimula yung development. Okay? I hope this one is clear. Okay, next slide. Okay, document sign off. UAT sign off, sir. Can you share it? SIM HR portal, UAT sign off. SIM, yes, that's correct. All right. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Okay? Kailangan nila mag-sign. What do you think the reason why do they need to sign for this? Okay? Kasi every time that we roll out something to them, we deliver something to them, they need to accept it. What is the proof that they accept the deliverables? By signing a sign-off form. Then this sign-off form, you will attach this one for your collection. Kasi invoice mo sila. Okay? If you remember dun sa ating project schedule, every deliverable, there is a cost, right? So we will invoice them on that particular period, particular delivery date, attach yung UAT sign-off form or acceptance sign-off form that confirms that they are accepting the deliverables. Okay? Without the sign-off form, you cannot ask them to pay you. Tatandaan yon. Kasi they will claim that they are not accepting the deliverables. There is still some issues. You need to fix it. Okay? Pero if they sign the document telling them, okay, okay na to, akin na sa amin, wala nang problema. Then later on, sabihin nila, ay may error, may babaguhin pa, hindi pwede. It is a document that bind them to tell them this is the document that you confirm all testing has been accepted, all the functionality has been implemented and accepted on your end, then that's it. They cannot say other things. Okay. So this is the importance of the UAT or the sign of documents. Okay. Then next is the last part, which is on my slide na. Okay. On this one, let me share it to you. Can you see it now? Okay. So after nung mga kanina, right? Kaya balikan lang natin ha. Yung bill of materials. Okay. So you must have all the specifications needed because it will affect the cost, okay, of the project. The project schedule. Ayan, yung kanina. So it is the overall view, the bird's eye view of the project. Okay, then minutes of the meeting, the importance of the minutes of the meeting, issue logs, change request, sign of document. So ito yung mga importante na dapat ninyong gawin, alamin o malaman as a project manager, especially if you're doing international projects para you protect yourself as well. Okay, hindi pwedeng sabihin nila na hindi namin nakita, hindi namin alam. Documents will tell them na these are the things happen, transcribed during our discussions. Okay, next, sabi ko nga kanina, project manager role is challenging pero rewarding, right? So kita niyo naman yung sweldo ng project manager, di ba? So imagine, no, compare niyo sa cybersecurity analyst, di ba? Magkano? 90K, di ba? Technology risk manager, 84. Then the highest there is project manager. Malaki talaga ang sweldo ng PM. Okay? Then according to PMI, so kasi bawat PM may kanya-kanyang titles. So we have IT project manager, so average salary 108. Senior PM, 105. Okay, continuation PM, 100. So generally, IT PM is one of the promising jobs. Okay, lalo na ngayong pandemic, di ba? There is so much IT development happening now. Okay, all of them, all the institution, all companies is upgrading, moving to automation, online, everything is there. Also in the cloud. Okay. So ayan, susunod si Cerulito ay PM na din. Okay, so I think thank you. That's it for my presentation. So just share ko lang sa inyo, okay? What they view sa mga project manager. Normally, the first picture they will see, ang galing, gwapo naman ng project manager. Ganun lang ang ginagawa niya. Oh. Salita lang ng salita, right? Pero actually, ang ginagawa ng PM yung nasa babang picture. O all around lahat siya. So that's the trade-off of being the project manager. You have to dress well. You have to show to them that you are competent. Okay, you are reliable guy in the project. But ayun nga, sabi ko kanina, marami kang ginagawa. Okay, so with that, I hope you get something from my talk. So these are based on my experience, as I mentioned to you. I don't want to lecture you about what is PM all about. It is more on experience. So soon, yung mga student natin, magiging PM din in the future. And some, yung gusto mag-aspire as a PM. So I hope you learn something from this. So you have to, ang sinasabi ko lang lagi, you have to be straightforward. Tell them if it is doable and not. Huwag ka mag-overpromise. It will kill you later on. Okay? So with that, again, thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that very informative and interesting talk. So, sir, let's proceed po with the open forum and question and answer. There are some questions po sa chat box po natin. From one of our participants po, here is his question. As project manager handling different IT resource from different nationalities with different experiences, ang daming different po, and best practices, how do you integrate all of these different best practices and experiences? Example po, from most IT Indian programmers normally have different programming styles with Filipino programmers.
Okay. So typically, we do have, kasi two sides yan. We have the project management office. The project management office sets all the guidelines, documentations, approaches, how you deal with the projects. So you have to abide the standard regardless kung nasaan ka pang bansa. Okay, next. In terms naman sa coding, normally kasi in a big project, okay, this is the ideal one. Before we give it to the programmers, the solution architects do the framework first. Okay, ibig sabihin nun, ginagawa ng solution architect yung baseline ng codes, architecture, ginagawa na. Then later on, these codes, base code will be passed to various groups. Okay, meaning to say, the structure, the architecture will be passed to India, will be passed to the Philippines, will be passed to the US. Okay, so with that, there is a guidelines for them to follow the standards given, or else we will reject the codes. We will reject the modules. Unless otherwise, mag-comply sila, then saka lang namin tatanggapin. Okay? So that's how we integrate things.
Okay po, thank you, sir. Another question po. As a project manager, did you encounter that in one project, there are several PM, project manager? How did you handle it? Are you allowed to choose your own team? How did you distribute this special module in your team? Ang dami pong tanong. Lastly, how did you handle the different programming styles of different nationalities?
Okay, unang-una, okay, isa lang ang project manager. Okay, isa lang ang project manager, which is the main project manager. Siguro yung sinasabi niya is those are designated functional managers. Magkaiba kasi yon. Project manager is on the top, then meron tayong sa baba, we call it functional managers. Functional managers are those working on specialized functions, kaya nga functional. For example, accounts receivable, o dun siya kay functional manager para sa accounts receivable. Si functional managers for the payment, kay payment siya. Okay? So ngayon, ang tanong again is that, paano mamili ng project manager? Is it?
Are you allowed to choose your own team po?
Okay, are you allowed to choose your own team? Oh, meaning this one is the project procurement, so sa team building, okay? Normally, by practice, we leave it to the functional managers to work, okay? Kasi they know their team well than us, okay? So alam niya kung sino yung isasama niya dun sa team niya. Pero if the project teams are liberal, then siguro they may suggest pwede bang sumali sa ganitong team. It's up to them. But in general practice, based on my experience, we leave it to the functional managers because they know well yung mga taong katrabaho nila. Okay?
Sir, yung last question niya, how did you handle the different programming styles of different nationalities? The integration of the different styles of
Ayan, ay sabi ko, as I mentioned earlier, meron kaming tinatawag na standards. Okay, for example, these standards should be adhere. For example, ang definition ng object, ang unang-una should be capital letter, it should be descriptive enough, something like that. So they have to follow it. Otherwise, we will reject the module. Pag ni-reject ang module, di sila makakuha ng sweldo. That's how we work. Kasi normally we outsource it to some countries. Then we scrutinize the standards. If they follow the standards, we will pay them accordingly. If not, we will reject it. Then they have to fix it. Or else hindi sila mabayaran. So that's one of the project management thing. Okay?
One question po, sir. In your experience as project manager, what is the best collaborative tools tool for communicating and monitoring project team's performance? Is Trello a recommended tool for students of project management?
Okay, depende kasi 'yan. Depende kasi may mga tools na we call it proprietary. Mahal 'yon. So they are not accessible sa mga ibang company organization. So normally they use open source, yung mga ganyan. Trello, they can use it. Actually, the tool will just help you to give you a bird's eye view of what is happening or who will do what. Iba yun eh. Iba kasi yung tools sa actual project management. But they can use any tools provided it is very clear that this assignment is assigned to whom, anong date ang expected start and end at status ng particular task. That's it.
Yes, sir. Ito po sir, mukhang interesting tong tanong niya. As PM, how do you know that the IT project will fail? Is extended Mondays allow or extension for project?
Okay. Okay. Normally, in general rule, okay, as a PM, we do have what we call konting tinatawag namin buffer for the project. Okay? Kasi in the management area, meron kaming tinatawag na extraordinary budget. Okay? For example, we know that the project will be delayed. We will crush the project. Crushing meaning to say we will get more resources and put to that project. Okay? So meaning to say we will get more money, we will spend more money just to deliver the project. So actually in the project, most of the project I work, wala namang naka-cancel. Okay, normally the reason of the cancellation is that change of legislation, nagbago yung government policy. So hindi na namin tutuloy yung project or the project itself is not already feasible enough. Parang ganon. Kasi every project is by contract. At the same time, every delay, you have to pay the client of the delay. Okay? Pero as a general rule namin sa project, okay, if the project can be salvaged, okay, we have no choice. Sabi nga nung boss ko, it is a leader loss because it is our reputation to deliver. It will be our part of our kumbaga profile. So if it is just a minimal or acceptable, then we will spend more money just to deliver the project. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you po. Yung parang yung additional questions niya po kanina, yung pagiging straightforward is the answer na during your talk po.
Hmm.
Mahaba po kasi yung questions niya.
Yes.
Pinakita lang
You have
po.
to be straightforward. Hindi pwedeng
Straightforward.
ipag-iisipan ko, tatanungin ko. If you know the answer, tell them straight. Huwag yung pwedeng, o sige, pag-usapan na lang natin. Walang ganon.
Yes, sir. One last question siguro, sir. Question is, MS project of Microsoft still useful today?
Yes,
Sir?
they still use.
Or can you recommend PM tools to use? Open source, etc. Thank you.
Sabi ko kanina, it depends on the organization. If the organization, kasi if the client prefer to have a proprietary solution, then we will use a proprietary solution. Then if the company is very liberal, then we will use an open source. Kasi for example, one of my client is government. Ayaw nila ng mga open source because of what we call confidentiality.
Yes.
Okay? Kasi ilalagay mo rin yung mga documents, deliverables, right?
Yes.
So they don't 100% ayaw nila ng mga open source. They are okay with proprietary kahit magbayad sila. Okay? So it depends to the organization.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you po for sharing your expertise and very perceptive and deep understanding about IT project management in globalized society. Congratulations din, sir, for being one of the professional computer engineers po.
Congratulations sa first batch of professional and certified computer engineers in the Philippines and abroad. Kasi meron tayong Oman branch na, right? May Oman chapter na tayo aside from SJ. So hopefully we will have another chapter. I believe that is Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Right? So we are expanding, become more and more accessible dun sa ating mga kapatid sa ibayong dagat. Okay? So yeah. So hopefully ASEAN na ba tayo, sir? So let's hope for the best. Let's hope for the best.
Praying and working for that, sir, di ba?
Yes. Actually, no, as I've always mentioned to my colleagues here in Singapore, computer engineers, just like other engineers, are global engineers. We can practice anywhere in the globe.
Yes, sir.
So what we are doing in the Philippines is the same thing. We're also doing that in other country, in the United States, UK. It is the same thing.
Yes,
So that is our advantage. And we are keep updating.
Yes,
Diba? Kung dati MS-DOS, no, sir?
Yes.
Now we are in a cloud environment. Okay, so again, thank you sa inyong lahat. Salamat.
Thank you po. Sir, to give us the brief summary of the talk of Dr. Evangelista for this afternoon session, may I call on the soon-to-be doctor, engineer Orlan Dito Bola for this synopsis.
Nakakaba.
Wow, congratulations, Doc.
Sir, hindi pa po.
Ano ba yan, Doctor of Technology?
PhD in Energy Engineering po.
Oh, well, good. Very good. That is one of the promising now, energy engineering, especially renewable energy.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, Sir Mahagway, and thank you, Dr. Evangelista. I'm here to summarize the talk of Dr. Evangelista about IT project management in the globalized society. Dr. Evangelista start with in saying that he will share his experience as a project manager, which for him is challenging, but at the same time rewarding. He started by defining what IT is and what project management is. He also discusses different examples of a typical IT projects with global teams, such as application development, mobile development, automation system, modeling system, game development, entertainment, smart farming, and robotics, and AI. He emphasizes the highly globalized society that we are in now, and defined globalization as the use to describe the growing interdependence of the world's economies, culture, and people. That is the rationale of us having a lot of remote teams, of global teams, which takes advantage of the following advantages of creating a global team, which is technical expertise available around the world, human resources that at a competitive cost, because mas mura po talaga pag nasa third world country yung expert mo. And favorable legal framework. Actually, other countries are enacting laws in order for them to attract these global companies. And Dr. Evangelista also shared about his personal projects in IT project management. One is in Intercontinental Hotels Group, German European School, Singapore Institute of Management, Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, and a lot more. He shared some of the common issues in dealing with global projects, such as time zones, and culture, because other cultures, unlike Filipino culture, is more straightforward. Therefore, somehow we need to adjust with them and be straightforward as well if we do project management internationally. And he also emphasized on the importance of skill set of an IT project manager. Then he give specific examples of different and important IT project management elements, such as procurement management, which he emphasized as a project manager, you must know every detail of a project. He also discussed about project development, which can be divided into phases when the project is a big project. And he emphasizes the time is critical in project management. He also shared a specific example on project schedule, minutes of the meeting, issue logs, change requests, which you would answer with scope of work, and sign off document in order to ensure your stake at whatever project that you are doing. And at the end of the day, as he said, project management is challenging, but it is also rewarding. Therefore, he also shared the project management average salary, which is really promising and rewarding. That would be it. Thank you, Dr. Evangelista, and back to Engineer Mahagway.
Sorry po, excited magsalita, naka-mute pala ako. Okay po. Okay, now to award the certificate of recognition to our resource speaker, let's call on the co-chair of the Professorial Lecture Series, Engineer Joselinda M. Golpea.
So the Polytechnic University of the Philippines awards this certificate of recognition to Dr. Ryan S. Evangelista in grateful acknowledgement of his distinguished and invaluable service rendered as guest of honor and speaker in the Science, Engineering, and Technology Professorial Chairholder Lecture Series, SET PCLS 2020, with the theme IT Project Management in the Globalized Society. So given this 11th day of December 2020 at the PUP Main Campus, Santa Mesa, Manila, Philippines. Signed, Dr. Manuel M. Mui, University President.
Okay, sir, please accept your
Yes.
certificate
Thank you.
virtually.
Thank you. I accept the certificate with an honor. Ayan. Salamat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you po. Okay po. And we hope to see you again, sir, for the mga susunod po naming mga lecture series.
Okay.
Okay,
Sige, sir.
for some reminders po, reminders for the, maybe this is our last for this year. This is our last for this year po. Okay, for tomorrow po, we have the webinar, MSCM, the Master of Science in Construction Management webinar on sustainable and healthy spaces through well-building standards. The speaker would be Engineer Ryan Bed Sabilala. Next po. For the link, for the evaluation po, for you to receive your certificate, please answer this link po. Please provide information for this link. Next. Let's have the photo opportunity po for this event with Sir Ryan. Please open your camera po for photo opportunity, for photo op. We have how many gallery? 11. So our session for this afternoon is very overwhelming. We have an overwhelming number of participants. Parang lumampas tayo ng 300. Many participants wanted to join us, but maximum 300 participants are only allowed to join the Zoom meeting. Sir Ryan, dami mong fans.
Oo nga po.
Blockbuster, Sir Ryan.
Okay po. Sa first slide po muna tayo. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay po. Thank you. Next slide po tayo. Okay po. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Thank you po. Next slide po tayo. One, two, three. Okay po. Thank you po. Next slide po. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Thank you. Okay po. Next slide po. Okay po. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Thank you po. Next slide po tayo. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you po. Next slide po ulit. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you po. Next slide po. Okay po. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Thank you po. Next slide po tayo. Hindi pa po. Okay po. 1.
Sakit na raw sa panga si ma'am.
Okay po. Thank you po. Pang 10 slide na po ito.
Dalawa pa.
Ano pa? 99 pa ba, sir?
Okay po. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Last slide na po tayo. Yes.
Sabi mo mag-number 1.
Okay po. Last slide. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. Thank you.
Alam mo naman kasama tayo sa last slide.
Oo, wala tayo sa last.
Okay po, thank you po ulit. And before we end this session, we would like to acknowledge and say thank you to our participants from different schools and organizations from Pangasinan State University, PICE Kuwait, Biliran Province State University, DPWH, is it Region 6? Lopez, PUP Lopez, Cavite State University, the participants from IRIS, UST, LPU Cavite, DPWH, PUP ITech, happy anniversary, TIP, DLSU, and URS Cainta, and all campuses of PUP. Maraming salamat po and thank you for attending this session. Now to give us the closing remarks. Let's call on the Dean of the PUP Graduate School, Dr. Elmer De Jose. Sir?
Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Am I heard?
Yes,
Yes po,
sir.
Doc.
All right. Thank you, Sir Mahagway. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's lecture is another clear demonstration of the wealth of expertise of some of the best minds of scholars and fellow researchers we have and we collaborate with in the university. In behalf of the entire PUP academic community, we express our earnest appreciation to Dr. Ryan Evangelista. Thank you, sir, for a very informative and engaging lecture. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise and practical experiences on the essentials of IT project management in the global context. We thank the PUP administration headed by this gentleman who was probably born in the planet of Krypton, who never runs out of energy and innovative ideas, progenitor of the many scholarly professional lecture series we have in the university. Of course, our Superman President, Engineer Manuel Muhi. Salamat po sa lahat ng bumubuo ng EXICOM ng ating universidad. To the colleges and schools hosting this outstanding professional shareholder lecture series program, we sincerely express our heartfelt gratitude and congratulations. The College of Engineering, the College of Science, the Institute of Technology, the Graduate School, and the Open University System. Our felicitations also to the PCLSP committee composed of engineers Oquindo, Golpeo, and Pahavera for a job well done. We also thank all the participants from the different colleges, branches, and campuses of the university, our guests from other offices and educational institutions, and especially for those of you who have been with us since the previous lectures. Without you, will not be able to achieve the ultimate goal of this series, that is to promote greater knowledge, enhance our intellectual experience, and further spur our desire to vigorously contribute to the research and development performance of our university. We hope to see you again in the next scientific lecture series. To God be the glory. Ingatan po tayong lahat ng poong may kapal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Sir Elmer De Jose. And now to let's sing yung favorite po ng mga PUPians, the PUP hymn.
Ikang taglay
sharing your time with us. We hope to see you again virtually in all of our upcoming professorial lecture. God bless everyone. This has been Engineer Rolito Mahagway. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ryan.
Thank you po.
Thank you
Bye.
po.
Thank you very much. Sige po. Congrats.
Thank you po. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Sa isang iglap, mga ngiti na takpan, mahigpit na yakap, kailang pagkawalan. Dumaan ng dilim, na puno ng bituin, sa iyong lilim, pag-ibig mas nagningning. Hinahanap ang kahapon sa panibagong ngayon. Marami ang nagbago, ngunit di ang pagmamahal mo.
Ngayong Pasko, diriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya.
Kami ay may lakas na harapin ang bukas. Ikaw ang gabay sa bawat landas. Gawin kaming liwanag para sa isa't isa. Pag-asang sumisinag sa pamilya at sa kapwa.
Ngayong Pasko, magdiriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag, ang ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Sa mahabang gabi, tumigil ang mundo. Sa pag-asang dala mo, tuloy ang Pasko. Liwanag, ligaya, light, joy, claridad, alegria, kasanang kasadya. Lamang kalipay, sa hayag kapuyakan, kahayag kalipay, raniyag ragsak. Ibawalikat, sigay lilini, liwanag kaugmaan, suluating tula. Kibuyo na pupi, illumina joya, yang bang shiway, lumiay joa. The children, adwa para oro, share sa alegria. Liwanag at ligaya, nagmumula sa iyo, ikakalat sa mundo.
Ngayong Pasko, magdiriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula.
Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ngayong Pasko, diriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang ligaya. At ligaya, ang liwanag at ligaya.
Sa isang iglap, mga ngiti na takpan, mahigpit na yakap, kailang pagkawalan. Dumaan ng dilim na puno ng bituin, sa iyong lilim, pag-ibig mas nagningning. Hinahanap ang kahapon sa panibagong ngayon. Marami ang nagbago, ngunit di ang pagmamahal mo.
Ngayong Pasko, diriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, pabalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya.
Kami ay may lakas na harapin ang bukas. Ikaw ang gabay sa bawat landas. Gawin kaming liwanag para sa isa't isa. Pag-asang sumisinag sa pamilya at sa kapwa.
Ngayong Pasko, magdiriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag, ang ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Sa mahabang gabi, tumigil ang mundo, sa pag-asang dala mo, tuloy ang Pasko. Liwanag, ligaya, light, joy, claridad, alegria, kasanang kasadya. Lamig kalipay, sa hayag kapuyakan, kahayag kalipay, raniyag raksak, kalibawalikat, sigay lilini, liwanag kaupan, suluating tula, kibuyo na pupi, ilumina joy, yang bang shiway, lumiyay joa, the children, adawa para oro, shares alegria. Liwanag at ligaya, nagmumula sa iyo, ikakalat sa mundo.
Ngayong Pasko, magdiriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula.
Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ngayong Pasko, magdiriwang ang mundo. Sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya.
Sa isang iglap, mga ngiti na takpan, mahigpit na yakap, kailang pagkawalan. Dumaan ng dilim na puno ng bituin, sa iyong lilim, pag-ibig mas nagningning. Hinahanap ang kahapon
sa panibagong ngayon. Marami ang nagbago, ngunit di ang pagmamahal mo. Ngayong Pasko, pagdiriwang ang mundo, sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, pabalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Kami ay may lakas na harapin ang bukas. Ikaw ang gabay sa bawat landas.
Gawin kaming liwanag para sa isa't isa. Pag-asang sumisinag sa pamilya at sa kapwa.
Ngayong Pasko, magdiriwang ang mundo, sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula. Ngayong Pasko, babalik ang saya, dahil ikaw ang liwanag, ang ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Ikaw lang, ikaw lang, ikaw ang liwanag at ligaya. Sa mahabang gabi, tumigil ang mundo, sa pag-asang dala mo, tuloy ang Pasko. Liwanag, ligaya, light, joy, claridad, alegria, kasang nagkasadya. Lamig kalipay, sa hayag kapulakan, kahayag kalipay, raniyag raksak, halimbawa likat, sigay lilili, liwanag kaugman, suluating tula, kibuyo na pupi, ilumina joy, yang bang shiway, lumiye joa, and then children, adawa para oro, sheros, alegria. Liwanag at ligaya, nagmumula sa iyo, ikakalat sa mundo.
Ngayong Pasko, magdiriwang ang mundo, sa pag-ibig mo'y may himala, may panibagong simula.
Ngayong Pasko,